Today we're going to go over simple and compound interest, the difference between the two, and then how to figure out account balance, interest earned from those. Okay, what is interest and how do I calculate interest? So interest is a percent that we are going to get on top of our money. So either it's more money you're going to pay or more money you're going to receive. So if it's a car loan and there's 5% interest, you're going to pay 5% more of your car amount for the car. If it's interest in a bank account that you're going to earn, it is going to be more money that you will earn. So earning means you get. So if my bank account earns 2% interest, I get 2% of what I originally had from my bank is the money that it earns. So the different variables of the calculating interest in the formulas. So there's a few different parts. So interest is going to be I in the formulas. It is the amount of money paid or earned for the use of the money. So this is an additional amount. Principal, which is going to be P in the formulas, is the original or initial amount of money that was invested or borrowed. Okay, interest rate is going to be a little r in the formulas. It is the percentage of the money that is paid on top of the principal. It's written as a decimal. Remember, it's written as a decimal in the formulas. And the last word for the formulas is going to be time. It's going to be the little t. It is the amount of time that was invested or borrowed in years. Time is always in years. Okay, so let's highlight in years, because every now and then they will give you a question wrote in months, and you're going to have to translate it into years. Simple interest. So for simple interest, I equals PRT. So P times R times T. I is the interest. P is the original amount. R is the rate as a decimal. T is the time in years. So if I know I have $1,000 at 2% interest rate would be 0.02 times, if I do it for 2 years, I'm going to do times 2. And then I would find out the interest earned. So on that example, if I have $1,000 is my principal times 0.02 would be my rate. So that is 2% times 2, which would be the time. So 2. Let's write $1,000 here. I could put that into the calculator and find out how much interest I would earn in 2 years' time at 2% with $1,000 starting. So if I invested $1,000 for 2 years at 2%, I would earn $40 in interest. Here is the interest. Now, what if I want to figure out what the account balance is after that 2 years? So after my 2 years, to figure out the account balance, I need to figure out the interest earned plus the original amount. Okay, so simple interest, the formula only gives us I, which is interest. If I want the account balance, I have to go interest plus principal equals account balance. So after my 2 years, okay, so I know I started with $1,000, so that it was my principal, plus the $40 I earned in interest equals $1,040 would be my account balance. The main thing to pay attention to in interest formulas is what they're asking for. Do they want the account balance or do they want the interest earned? And then which formula to use. So this is simple interest, but let's move on to compound interest. So compound interest. Compound interest is when previous interest earned is added to the principal amount of money so that the interest builds on itself. So as our example on the last slide, if I had $1,000 was my principal, right? Year one, I earned $1,000 and let's say I earned $20 in interest. Year two, this would be my principal and I would earn interest on that interest earned. So you grow money a lot quicker on compound interest. Okay, here's the formula for compound interest. So the letters still mean the same things. So A is the account balance. Pay attention to that. On compound interest, it equals the account balance, okay? It does not equal the interest. That's a big difference between the two. P is still the principal. The +1 is going to be on there. You're going to leave that. R is still going to be your rate as a decimal. And then T is going to be time in years. So that is a little exponent. It is going to the power of T. To solve the interest for compound interest formula, so if I need to figure out what the interest is on that account, okay, because remember this formula right here just gives me account balance. If I want to find the interest, okay, so interest, I have to take the account balance and subtract the principal. So the original amount. That's how I figure out the interest using compound interest. So let's look at an example. Okay, so here is an example. I have $1,000 deposit compounded annually, so it tells me what formula to use, at 4.25%, so that's going to be my rate. This is a formula for 3 years is my time, $1,000 deposit. So let's figure this out. My principal, my original amount, is going to be $1,000. My rate is 4.25%, but I need that as a decimal, so 0.0425. My time is 3 years. I do not know what the interest is or the account balance. So writing the formula out, I'm going to have account balance equals P1 plus R to the T. So now I insert the information I know into the formula. A equals $1,000 times parentheses 1 plus 0.0425 parentheses to the exponent of 3. I can stick that in my calculator. And I get A equals 1,133. So 1,133. Now, how can I find the interest for this? Well, that formula was interest equals account balance minus principal when it comes to compound interest. So take that information, put it in there. So the account balance is 1,133 minus my original $1,000. That'll equal my interest. My interest equals $133. So down here, I can write $133. So now that I figured out all the information, I could read further if I had more information from the question to know what are they looking for. Did they want to know what the account balance was? Did they want to know what the interest was? What was the question asking?